The games industry has woken from its slumber, and the amount of games that will be vying for your attention is about to skyrocket. August is packed with premium, reduced price, and free games, and I've grabbed the cream of the crop to tell you about. And of course, some dad jokes too. I'm Adam, hello there, let's do this! The game of the month for me is Black Myth: Wukong, an action RPG with a narrative focus. From the outside looking in, this is most definitely a Souls-like game, yet there are a few changes from that formula to make this a unique experience. We play as the legendary son Wukong from Chinese mythology who battles gods and demons regularly. The core of the combat is our magical transforming staff that evolves throughout the game and includes skills like elongating to get above enemies, throwing it around like a boomerang and hoping it comes back, and imbuing the staff with different elemental powers, and then on top of that we have combat stances to change how we fundamentally use our staff and attacks. Surprisingly, Black Myth: Wukong does not have a block button that we see in pretty much all other Souls-like games. Instead, a much faster combat system is at play, with a dodge button designed to evade incoming damage, but it can't be overused. Oh, and we also can deflect projectiles and ranged attacks, once again using our staff, but there is no way of tanking shots by blocking. Enemy types look varied, with countless attack patterns to memorize across increasingly challenging bosses, most inspired by Chinese folklore. And it looks good. Black Myth: Wukong will have a single difficulty setting, putting all of us on a level playing field, and drops on PS5 and PC on August 20th, with an Xbox version coming later in the year. A polarizing game coming this month is Star Wars Outlaws, a Star Wars game without lightsabers or the Force. Instead, we play as a smuggler in the Outer Rim. Oh, and Outlaws is canon to the Star Wars story, set in between the movies Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Playing as Kay Vess with her lovable sidekick Nyx, we are unleashed on multiple planets, which are said to be open worlds. But it has to be said, many of those planets are a little smaller than that. I'd call them open hubs rather than open worlds, in terms of size. Gameplay-wise, combat is run and gun, with solid cover shooting mechanics, or stealthy slow movement planning a route through all the goons. Most contracts offer a loud or quiet approach. The decision is yours. The faction system will see our reputation fluctuate as we ally with or double cross each of them, including the Hutts. And yeah, Jabba the Hutt is here too. Exploring can lead to interesting side quests and loot to find. There looks to be a lot to do, including space battles on our Trailblazer, exploring on foot or by speeder, and weapon upgrades that change the ammo type, like a pulse to take down shields before switching back to blasters. Star Wars Outlaws hits PS5, Xbox Series and PC on August 30th. Next, a game in serious threat of nobody caring at all. Concord, a first-person team hero shooter. Imagine if Destiny 2, Overwatch and Guardians of the Galaxy had a little video game baby. You'd get Concord. In a team of 5, the characters we choose all have unique abilities. Some are more unique than others, like the ability to build a wall and block the other team. Some have more jumps, and others have a bigger health pool and also a bigger hitbox. If you've played Overwatch, the basics are identical here. That said, as we play, we unlock other crewmates and can switch between them if we are eliminated, building a crew during each battle. Concord plans to be a live service game for years to come, and to help the fandom love these characters, weekly cutscenes will be released, slowly uncovering more about their history and overarching storyline. It's a great idea, but I gotta be honest, Concord does feel like Walmart Guardians of the Galaxy, and the reaction to the beta was pretty damning, with incredibly low player numbers on PC at least. Concord could be dead on arrival, or it could be like Rainbow Six Siege and slowly prove it has enough to succeed. Priced at £35 in the UK or $40 US and €40. I do hope Concord can find an audience when it releases on PS5 and PC on August 23rd. Let's change tact for a moment, as a game that released in early access over a decade ago, in fact 3,878 days ago, suddenly released this week. 7 Days to Die. The zombie survival game was once seen as Minecraft for adults, fending off the undead for as long as possible after a war ravaged the world. We begin with nothing and slowly craft hunting gear to find food and hopefully build a shelter as the day-night cycle continues. The name 7 Days to Die is due to a blood moon that happens every 7th day in the game, when hordes of zombies and infected attack the players en masse. Fail to prepare? Prepare to fail. 7 Days to Die is out now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and of course, PC. And it's a reduced priced game, $45, €40 or £33 in the UK. Oakley dokley, let's look at the free offerings for the month, and just this week we had an update on the console version of Valorant, the tactical team shooter that blends Counter-Strike realism with the over-the-top abilities of Overwatch. Last month we could apply to take part in the beta, and the comment section last month did not like being forced to request a code to play. Well, I'm happy to report things went so well that the beta is now open to everyone. No more requesting a code anymore, simply jump on your PS5 or Xbox Series and Valorant is waiting for you to download. It plays surprisingly well on controller too. Sadly, the PS4 and the Xbox One versions have officially been thrown aside as last gen will not be supported by Riot Games. Next, the weirdest free game I've seen in a very long time. Check out Hamster Playground. We come home from the pet shop with a hamster and then train it to take on mazes and race against other hamsters online or against local AI. The playground is half simulator, half reaction racer. So basically we have to feed and clean the cute little buggers. But don't worry, for science I checked to see what happens if they are never fed, and they still survive. But we do need to train them mentally and physically for races, because during those races, the level of the hamster matters, and the player's ability to react quickly to different scenarios determine the outcome of the contest. And the more successful, the more customization options we have, and the more hamsters we can purchase from the pet store. I started naming mine after PlayStation characters, and Aloy is useless. Hamster Playground has a platinum trophy, by the way, and is now on the PlayStations, the Switch, the Xboxes, and PC. And one last throwaway free game for your attention is Radikal Fighters. Okay, it's not very well made, but the idea is worth a shout, because I've always wanted to say this, it's like Pac-Man with guns. Seriously, Radikal Fighters essentially crosses Battle Royale with Pac-Man's maze of collectibles. Weird, right? We drop in and collect as many orbs as possible, while simultaneously picking up weapons and fighting other players. The attempted hook is a long line of cosmetics, but in all honesty, the visuals are gonna struggle to gain traction. And if anything, I want to go find my Pac-Man map I made in Fortnite back in 2019. Radikal Fighters is out now. Righto, let's transition back to priced games with an update to Helldivers 2. The Starships Troopers inspired co-op shooter will receive its biggest ever update on August 6th. Known as the Escalation of Freedom update. We will see new enemies added, a new difficulty setting, and updates to punish those griefers. New baddies including an Impaler enemy last seen in the OG Helldivers, a Spore Charger who has the ability to conceal themselves in fog before jump scaring the life out of you, and upgraded Brood Commanders known as Alphas, and a rocket tank too. Helldivers 2 may not be as influential as it once was, but they are certainly not giving up on the game. On August 29th, another entry in the Mana series lands. This time it's Visions of Mana. The legendary JRPG that began as a Final Fantasy spin-off in 1991 now has 17 iterations, and surprisingly this is the first mainline entry since 2006. We go on a pilgrimage to the Mana Tree, which quickly becomes a bruising affair. Through fast-paced real-time battles filled with aerial combos and a great little tag system switching in and out our heroes to utilise their skills and unique abilities. As the game progresses, it becomes normal to see hybrid characters, like the half-dragon Karina, and the story just goes fully fantasy ASAP. Oh, and I'm reliably informed, playing the previous games isn't a demand here. Visions of Mana hits the PlayStations and the Xboxes and the PC on August 29th. There are still so more games dropping this month. Let's do a speed round. Dustborn is a single-player, story-driven action-adventure game about hope, love, friendships, robots, and the power of words. Those words aren't mine, by the way. I didn't change a single one of them. Basically, we go on a road trip with a band of superheroed young people, and drama follows. Gory Cuddly Carnage is a hack-and-slash game centered around a cat. I don't need to say any more, do I? August 29th for that one. Squirrel with a Gun is a game I'm dying to talk about, but the console release isn't coming until autumn time now. But PC fam, you can literally play as a squirrel with a gun from August 29th. And finally, Star Wars Bounty Hunter, the PS2 game from 2002, is being remastered and re-released on all modern day consoles on August 1st, as we live the life of Jango Fett, flying, climbing and third-person shooting through countless foes as we track down a dark Jedi. It was great back then, but 22 years have passed since then. Anyway, we did it! A bunch of new games dropping in August 2024. And as always, I owe you dad jokes to end the video. Like this. Who's the only Jedi able to open PDFs? Adobe One Kenobi. Topical, right? What do you call a moose with no name? Anonymous. What do you call a deer with no eyes? No idea. We all know that food can't make a phone call, right? But then onion rings. These are getting worse by the month. I'm so sorry. I'm Adam, you're awesome. It's been a pleasure. See ya.